not only had a big quarter, not only scored 55 points, but compared to his Bulls team, outscored them by himself 55-51.
Yep.
The only other player I know who's done that in a playoff game was Jordan himself in 98 in Game 6 versus Utah.
Yes.
And if you're keeping track right now, Jordan the first...
All right, welcome back to the channel, everyone. Hope you all are having a good day so far. So it's time for part 3. I see Uncut has dropped his part 3 of the truth about Michael Jordan's career. And this is Uncut Hoops I'm talking about. First 2 in the series have been absolutely awesome. Highly suggest you go back and watch either my reactions to those or head over to Uncut's channel and check out the first 2 parts, because we're about to enter part 3 and he's going chronologically in Jordan's career. And he's basically just destroying narratives, and he's doing a damn good job at it. So we're going to watch part 3 here. As I always do, I'm going to link the original video down below in the description box. So if you want to check out Uncut's video without me, go right ahead. If you want to go over there and subscribe to his channel and all that stuff, highly recommend it. Everybody else, please leave a like to this video. Helps me out a ton, helps out the channel a ton. And I appreciate you all every single time. I'm already looking forward to the comment section in this one. Let's just get right to it.
Michael Jordan, before he got Scottie Pippen, never won a playoff series. Got swept by the Big Three in Boston. You keep talking about how great he was, but how great was he without Scottie Pippen?
What the media does not want you to know about Michael Jordan. Because here are some facts. Before Scottie Pippen got there, a total and complete loser.
Michael Jordan was 1-9.
Oh my God. This is why I don't watch mainstream media anymore. Are these kind of ridiculous takes? Michael Jordan was a loser before Scottie Pippen arrived. Let's not forget he was clutch in the NCAA championship, so won a title there, and then also won a gold medal fresh out of college for the United States basketball team. Let's just discredit all that and the fact that he took a terrible franchise and was making the playoffs every single year so far. Let's just discredit all that. Why not? You know, let's just fit a narrative.
And without Pippen, we don't hold it against him.
When it comes to the best MVPs of all...
What?
Jordan was 1-9.
Hold up.
A total and complete loser.
Michael Jordan was 1-9 without Pippen. We don't hold it against him.
When it comes to the best MVPs of all time, there's tons of guys who have phenomenal campaigns that are definitely noteworthy. Whether it be Steph in 2016, Bird in the mid-80s, even Wilt Chamberlain in the 1960s. All those guys in varying degrees have phenomenal MVP campaigns. But if you ask the majority of NBA fans, people who are teenagers, 40 years old, even fans pushing 70, the answer you're probably going to get is that Michael Jordan 88 is the best MVP to ever lace them up.
Yeah.
As looking at Jordan that year, 35 points per game, 6 dimes, 54% shooting.
Once again, I have to always focus on this. Everybody always questions me when I say most of Jordan's career, he shot at or above 50%. There it is again. And he was averaging 35 points a game. And this is 87-88. So 87-88, 35. But this is when he won Defensive Player of the Year, too, I believe.
For his Bulls team, leader in points, assists, steals, as well as blocks. And Jordan that year, 40 minutes per game and played all 82 games.
Yep.
And on top of that, was playing both ends of the floor, offense as well as defense.
I don't think there's any flaw in this guy's game. He's the best defensive player in the league, in my opinion. He's the best competitor in the league, in my opinion. He's by far the best offensive player, in my opinion. He's the best clutch player in the game. He's got the whole package.
Yeah, he did.
They're always trying to say, who's the next Michael Jordan? And they only look at offense. Michael Jordan was the best defensive player who played during our era, and that's what separated him.
Chuck is dead on that, by the way. When we were younger, watching Jordan, and he was still playing, we used to compare these one-sided players who would just look flashy on the offensive end and say, ooh, maybe he's the next Jordan. But yeah, it took It took until I got older to really appreciate, because I knew what he was doing defensively, but I didn't realize back then that all these young bucks were going to come in and just play offense and think it was good enough. And then to turn out that they're right and it is good enough because they're getting max contracts out of it. But I just thought it was a gimme. You got to play both ends of the court. But yeah, no, Chuck is dead right, because we used to always compare people like that and be like, oh, hey, Harold Miner, hey, look, D Brown could dunk pretty good. Maybe he's like Jordan. Yeah, we did it all the time.
Didn't have the type of stamina, the type of energy level that Michael seems to possess every single night, whether he's playing against the worst team in the league or the best team in the league. He has an energy level that's unmatched by any other player or any other athlete that I've seen in professional sports.
And he goes, okay, and we're going to run 21. But if Michael's on the left side, we're going to run. And he'd go down each play.
Yeah. I reacted to this, too. This was so much fun.
Say where Michael was, and we're going to run it on a different side.
Yeah.
That's the impact defensively had. Did they do that? I don't know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So whatever. Yeah. If MJ's going to the right, like, yeah, I don't even need to explain it. It's just you want to go. Okay. If you're on the offensive end, what Kenny was saying and Mark was agreeing, if you're on offense, MJ's on defense, whatever side of the hoop MJ's at, because these were 2 point guards, Kenny Smith and Mark Jackson, you're pushing the ball into the other direction. You want the ball being away from MJ, because MJ was a steal and blocking machine.
88 Jordan debatably was the best offensive player as well as defensive player. And that combo of great scorer and defender, that's a rarity in league history. As looking at history, only twice a player ever averaged 35 points per game and made an all-defensive team. Of course, 88 Jordan, but also 06 Kobe. And when it comes to great scorers, people like Durant, Melo, Steph, Harden, those guys, they're phenomenal scorers. But primarily, they're offensive players, and defense, not really their forte.
Yep.
And for a 2024 comparison to show how impressive MJ was in 88, this past year's leading scorer is Luka Doncic at 33.9 points per game. Jordan 88 averaged 35, a full point higher than Luka. Now, the defensive end, Wembanyama this year, second defensive plus minus at 3.3. Jordan 88, nearly a full point higher in defensive plus minus.
Most impressive.
It is.
My overall point is pretty simple. The combination of great score, great volume score, paired with great defense is a rarity in NBA history.
And that's what makes him the greatest that I've ever seen. Hands down, right there. Uncut has it perfectly. It's because he was the best on offense and the best on defense. At that point, you're the best complete player. Therefore, you're the best player. Every other contender I've seen for that spot as the greatest of all time, they're usually lacking in one of the two departments. And that's why I don't believe LeBron James belongs anywhere in this conversation. Say what you want about him offensively. I see a lot of weaknesses in his offense. His mid-range game is terrible. His deep ball game is terrible. He looks clumsy out there when he's dribbling. He's leading his team in turnovers all the time, which is whack at a small forward, power forward position. All those things, but whatever. Even if you want to credit his offense, go for it. You can't sit here and tell me he's the best defensive player on the court ever. I can't recall the last time I watched a game where LeBron was playing and I said he's the best defender on the court. It never happened.
And looking at 88 Jordan, much like 06 Kobe, carrying a subpar roster into the postseason.
Yep.
As looking at the 88 Bulls, unlike the 87 Bulls, they weren't nearly as bad. As of course in 88, they got Pippen as well as Grant in that year's draft. Now Pippen and Grant, what they would go on to be, are all-star players, great supporting players. Pippen and Grant 88, while they were pretty decent players, they're not really noteworthy players in 88.
Yeah, no, they were solid. They were good role players at that point. They were helping. They were helping MJ, but yeah, they were not stars by any stretch.
As Pippen this year would start a grand total of 0 games, where Horace only managed 6.
Yep.
Not trying to downplay those players as rookies, but it wasn't prime Grant, prime Pippen immediately off the bat.
Yeah, they were rookies, man. It is what it is. It's not an insult. Most rookies don't come in like Jordan or like LeBron did or like who Wemby just did. Most guys don't come out and do that. So they were fine. They were developing.
And also for the 88 Bulls, a big-time addition was Sam Vincent mid-season. And Sam Vincent, I mean, not going to blow your mind or anything, but a competent point guard who could pass, could run an offense, and just was a solid player.
7 and
For
5.
guys like Sam Vincent, Horace Grant, Scottie Pippen in 1988, what they gave Michael Jordan was much-needed relief. Were they phenomenal help? No, not really. Were they solid, decent help? I would say so.
Yeah.
Logical.
Now, looking ahead to the NBA playoffs, the 50-win Bulls team, they were the 3 seed and matched up versus the Cleveland Cavaliers, who of course were the 6 seed. Now, this Cavaliers team at 88, they only won 42 games, but that record a tad bit deceiving, as the Cavaliers, much like Chicago, had made a midseason trade and picked up some vital pieces. One of those being Larry Nance, but also Mike Sanders.
Yeah, between Brad Daugherty, Nance, Mark Price, I can't believe these guys never won a championship. This Cavs team was so stacked. History just remembers them as the team that Michael Jordan, he broke their heart over and over again. But there's a reason why we made such a big deal out of it back then. It's because the Cavs were supposed to win. The Cavs were good, man.
And the Cavs post that Nance trade, their start post trade, was pretty abysmal, going 3-12, but eventually found their way and finished up 11-2 and were on fire down the home stretch. And looking at their roster in general, I mean, not the marks a 42-win team and an average team. You had Mark Price, only 23.
Oh, Ron
Brad
Harper,
Daugherty,
yeah.
22, was an all-star, kind of the prelude to Tim Duncan. You had Del Curry, Hot Rod Williams, Ron Harper.
And this version of Ron Harper was looking like a Jordan clone. This dude could ball. This was pre-injury Harper, young Harper. What we see with the Bulls, that Harper is post-injury, still very productive, but he's not nothing close to explosive as he was when he was young. So, dude, this Cavs team is sick. Look at that team.
As well as Craig Elo, and of course, Mike Sanders.
Yeah, Craig Elo.
This Cavs team, despite the massive trade, they rank second in defense, only behind the Bulls, and followed by Detroit.
Okay, that sounds pretty good.
Now, Game 1 in Chicago for the Bulls franchise, it was a massive deal. The Bulls hadn't won a Game 1 at home since 1981.
Wow.
And we're looking at a 5-game series. Winning Game 1, I mean, it's a very important game and vital to the series.
Yeah, it is.
As looking at teams up to that point, only 5 of the teams ever who lost Game 1 had actually won this series. That win rate is roughly 85% if you snag Game 1. So of course, this Game 1 for Jordan and the Bulls, tons of pressure, playing at home. But of course, Jordan, typical Jordan fashion before the series started, made some pretty bold predictions about the Bulls, winning in no less than 4 games.
Nice.
You got some balls, my friend.
Oh, Sopranos.
So looking at Game 1 in Chicago, the start for the Bulls team, as we come to see, lethargic, slow, and just disinterested. After one, the Bulls, down by double digits, in a massive hole. Now, Jordan, the second quarter, kind of bailed them out, scoring 18 points, nearly beating the Cavs himself, only had 19. For MJ standards of the first half, he was pretty much typical MJ. 29 points, of course a game high, and the rest of the Bulls team only had 24. So skipping ahead ever so slightly to the fourth quarter, the Bulls end this quarter down by 3 points, basically anybody's ballgame. And Jordan the fourth quarter was downright phenomenal. 13 points, 1 assist, 4-8 shooting, perfect from the line.
5 for 5.
Typical
Nice.
MJ fourth quarter performance. But looking at the actual details of this game, the numbers don't really do it justice. As looking at early in the fourth quarter, Scottie Pippen, he got in a technical foul, as well as fourth foul for the game. Scottie after that would not return and was benched.
Damn.
That's a big time moment. Now, a couple minutes later, an even bigger moment, Jordan fast break catches the ball, goes up, then falls to the ground and appears to be hurt.
Hits the deck, went up, got hit, and now when he came down, there he goes, and now the knee. grabs the side of it. Now, I don't know. I couldn't see where any contact came, whether he just landed funny. It didn't seem to happen while he was in the air, but whatever happened, it hurts a lot.
Damn.
Now, it could very well be that he cramped. He's been very tired. Take another look at him going down, because when you get a cramp, it really makes you hurt, and you'll hit the deck.
That does kind of look like a cramp. At first, I was thinking because he did, he landed at full power, like from a huge leap. And then he immediately, like within a split second, launched himself again. So I thought maybe he tweaked something there. But yeah, that looks like a pull.
The entire Bulls crowd right here, I mean, just stunned in awe, looking at their franchise, their future on the ground, holding his knee. I'm sure David Stern at this moment was gasping for air, praying Jordan wasn't hurt severely. Now, what Jordan's injury actually was, reports say a strained calf, maybe a cramp, not entirely clear. But Jordan, of course, he was banged up, hobbled in this game. And here's the big part about MJ. Yes, he'd go to the bench, sit down for a second, but after that, immediately came back in, shot free throws, and finished the game, closing Cleveland out with 8 more points.
When you're sick, you play better than anybody in the NBA when they're healthy.
That's a good question. When I go out and play, especially when I'm sick or I'm hurt, I try not to think about the injury or my sickness. I try to think about the job that I have to do. And sometimes that helps my concentration level, and I play a lot better. I don't know why. I wish I could be sick every day.
Right. That's a good question, because you got this back thing, and you were 18 for 25 from the field the other night.
I know, and I'm in pain today.
So's Cleveland.
So's Cleveland. Yeah, because I grew up watching Jordan, I had that same mentality. Whenever I would do anything, whether it was like work, school, or basketball, I had that same mentality. If I was sick or if I was injured, I expected myself to play better than usual, because it's like a wake-up moment for me. It's like, okay, we're very hyper aware of what's going on. Let's conquer it. Let's battle through. But that's just because my idol was Michael Jordan, and I watched him do it over and over and over again. I thought that was normal.
For Jordan, as well as his father, when MJ got hurt, banged up, wasn't healthy, that sometimes was the best thing for him, as in these moments, somehow or another, would rise the occasion and come through like no player since or before him. And like I said earlier, in a 5-game series, Game 1 is crucial, if not a must-win for the home team. So if Jordan this game sat out with the locker room, just said, I can't go back in, Bulls lose this game and possibly going to lose this series. And I want to make one note very quickly. Jordan this game, yes, scored 50 points.
Damn.
For the crowd who says Pippen saved Jordan off the bat, Jordan 50.
I think that's the thumbnail. What do you guys think? I think that's the thumbnail right there. And this is not to diss Pippen. Pippen is in a crossfire on this one because of the narrative of, Pippen is basically to credit for all the success that Michael Jordan ever had. And Pippen, you also deserve this because you said Michael Jordan was a terrible player before you got around. So, you know what? I can just leave this here for a second and not feel so bad about it because you said what you said, bro. And I'm sorry, Michael Jordan was still the best in the game before you came onto the roster of the Bulls. He was still the best in the game as far as basketball skills. He hadn't accomplished everything that makes him the greatest of all time. Not even close at this point. He was still a baby in the league. But you can never say he was a terrible basketball player.
Pippen in this game, 0 points, 0 of 5 shooting, had 4 fouls. Again, Jordan...
Wait, I got to hear that again from Uncut. Hold on.
Points,
Hold on.
Jordan, 50. Pippen in this game, 0 points, 0 of 5 shooting, had 4 fouls.
Oh, 5.
Again, Jordan, 50, Scotty, 0. Now, speaking of 50, the guy MJ torched in Game 1 was Craig Elo, not Ron Harper. Ron Harper in Game 1 was out with an injury. And Jordan, saying that, kind of trolled Harper, saying Elo was a better defender, the tougher matchup.
Figure about Harper, just didn't have the shooting touch. He and Jordan got into a bit of the war of the words in the newspaper, and Jordan said that Elo was a better defensive player than Harper, and Harper said, is that so? He never got 50 off me.
A few moments later.
But here this afternoon, Jordan scored 53.
It's gotta hurt.
Ron Harper, the individual player pre his injuries, was a phenomenal player, a great defender, underrated defender.
100%.
But him poking the bear that was Michael Jordan, not the smartest thing to do. As Michael Jordan, possibly the only player in league history who could score 50, trash talk someone, then drop 55.
Damn.
He was special.
Yeah.
And looking at Game 2 more in depth, compared to Game 1, nearly identical. The Bulls start extremely slow, lethargic, they weren't ready. The second, third quarter, chipping away, clawing away at that lead, to in the fourth quarter, it was anyone's ballgame. The Bulls' strategy at this point was survive the first 3 quarters, get to the fourth quarter, then let 23 take over.
Hey, Uncut, if you're watching this reaction again, can you let me know in the comments what was it? What was going on in the first quarter? If you happen to rewatch these games all the way, my first assumption would be Jordan was trying to get everybody involved, but it wasn't really working out. Nobody was actually scoring. And then the next 3 quarters he would take over. But let me know if that's accurate or if something else was going on. Thanks, bro. Loving the video so far, by the way.
And in Game 2, the exact same story. MJ in the fourth quarter. 16 points, 1 assist.
6 for 6.
5-11 shooting. Perfect from the line.
Clutch.
Great deal of experience playing with in North Carolina.
Jordan's turn.
Love that move.
51-20. Price.
That's money. Oh.
And Williams runs it
Hot
down.
rod.
Cavaliers keep it alive.
That ain't gonna miss twice. No way.
Cavaliers.
Both ball clubs. Out across.
Nitty.
Jordan, and he hammers it in. 53 now. Price off the dribble. Short on the shot. Rebound by Jordan. And
to the defense. But great defense by Chicago, particularly
double team. No way.
Jordan, no foul. Williams with the rebound in 32 seconds.
What was that?
Harper's hands now. They trail it by 1. Harper to the glass, not there. Vincent over to
That's
Jordan.
a foul.
Company named 50-50, right?
I love that sound.
Nothing but class.
This is a big free throw. This will alter it quickly. The Cavs looking for the tie with time running down. They go inside to Doherty.
Ooh, big mistake.
He gets it back. No foul on the inside, and now,
in addition to hurting his back.
Good job, Horse.
Michael Jordan Game 2 versus the Cavaliers not only had a big quarter, not only scored 55 points, but compared to his Bulls team, outscored them by himself 55-51.
Yep.
The only other player I know who's done that in a playoff game was Jordan himself in '98 in Game 6 versus Utah.
Yes.
And if you're keeping track right now, Jordan the first 2 ball games had a total of 105 points. The Bulls team total, outside of Jordan, also 105.
Whoa. So he literally had 50%. 2 games into the series. Okay. Right, I'm not tripping. Yeah. He had 105 out of the 210 total points. So 2 games in, he had 50% of the Bulls' points. Jesus. I kind of want to go back and rewatch this whole series.
The Bulls team total, outside of Jordan, also 105. And the quote-unquote MJ savior Scottie Pippen, only 8 points in 2 ball games. At this point in Jordan's career, he had 2 of the 5 highest-scoring games in playoff history. And was the first player ever with back-to-back 50-point games.
You know what it was if Jordan predicts something like that and says we're going to beat him in 4, sometimes he plays better when somebody challenges him. And in this case, he challenged himself to the media. He put an expectation on himself to win, and then he delivered.
Since Jordan's time period, only 2 players ever have duplicated that feat. That being Jamal Murray in 2020, as well as Mitchell in 2020 in the exact same series. And I think it is pretty important to note, after these first 2 games, Doug Collins, yes, he'll take the wins, but it's not how he wanted to win, the ideal way to win, with Jordan carrying the team in the fourth quarter and carrying them all game.
Well, Rick, I think the one thing I've told our players is if they're going to really make a commitment to stopping Michael, that someone's going to have to step forward and pick up some offense. You know, he has 105 or 210 points in this series, so somebody's going to have to step forward and make some shots for us tonight if they're going to try to really key and stop Michael.
Now, looking at Game 3 in Cleveland, once again, Ron Harper and Craig Elo had the assignment of Jordan. And of course, Game 1 and Game 2, those guys both got torched. So in Game 3, the game plan was pretty simple. Just shadow Jordan, follow him everywhere. Forget about Vincent, Corzine, Oakley. Forget about everyone. Just stop Michael Jordan, which in turn will stop the Bulls.
Well, obviously there is no way to totally shut down Michael Jordan, but Lenny Wilkens certainly has to be thinking about some ways to slow him down a little bit. You can only wish to contain him.
Well, he certainly has a few things in store for him. First of all, he would like to be a little bit more physical with him. This is something that he thinks they have not been doing. They have to do a better job of defending him coming off of the screens. He's been getting wide open. They need to get some weak side help when he does drive. They've been late getting there. Now here's the difference as we see as Price comes over to help him, forces him to kick it out. That's the guy you want to have shoot it, even though he might make it. I'd rather have Sam Vincent shooting it than Michael Jordan.
Agreed.
I mean, the Cavaliers defense right there, that's about as good a job you can do on 88 Jordan.
How to really stop Michael Jordan. Tie his shoestrings together. Put cement in his sneakers. Change location of game and not tell him. Pray, pray, pray.
Now, MJ in Game 3 still had 38 points and 9 dimes. That kind of just comes the territory. But you'll take that 38 points, 9 dimes, or 55 points, and him doing everything for the offense and leading to the win.
It's funny when 38 points looks like a weaker game. That's when you know MJ's spoiling everybody. We praise the hell out of that these days.
And looking at Game 4 once again in Cleveland, the exact same strategy to stop Jordan. And this Cavaliers team at home, I mean, they were a phenomenal home team. They'd won 8 in a row at this point, 15-17, and were just simply unbeatable on their home court in the Coliseum. And looking at MJ's playoff career at this point, in road playoff games, he was a staggering 0-7. And this game would make it 0-8, despite 44 points on 70% shooting. And the Cavs defense late in the game stopping Jordan, I mean, Ron Harper, a phenomenal job, and a crucial block on MJ that changed the game and quite possibly the series.
Stops, turns, hands to Jordan. Down to 1:05 to go. Jordan to the line. Jordan to the lane.
Oh, good weak side help. Good job, Harp.
Jordan. Jordan right side against Harper. Jordan right of the lane. Double pump of the foul. As Jordan went up, Harper banged him for the foul. Still going to have to give the ball back to the Bulls. Jordan's free throw is good to avoid at least a tie. Jordan again. Up. Good. Nance with 10 on the shot clock. Turns at the line. Double pump. Right side. Sanders. Sanders to the line. Throws it up.
Oh, big shot. Big shot.
Pippen. He looks. He deals to Corzine. And Harper stole the ball. Harper took it away.
Game 4
let's
in Cleveland.
just put it clearly there. Ron Harper, young Ron Harper, that win is on you. Good defense down the stretch, man. Good defense. You earned that victory.
And that was a gut-wrenching loss to the Bulls, as was Jordan. And all that confidence being up 2-0 had essentially vanished. And
Now
going to
it's do or
Game
die.
5, all the pressure, of course, was on the Bulls, as was
And
Jordan.
heads up to the young ones out there. Back then, first round was a 5-game series, not a 7-game series. So now we're setting up Game 5, which is do or die. Win or go home.
If Jordan lost Game 5, he would have lost in the first round as an MVP, only the second player ever to do that up to this point in the NBA. Also, blowing a 2-0 lead in a 5-game series up to this point had only been done twice. If Jordan's Bulls joined that list, I mean, it would be devastating. And speaking of devastating, the first
Shout out
quarter
to the Denver Nuggets because they actually did it. Came back from 0-2.
Game 5, I mean, it looked over. Cavaliers up by 18 points, and Jordan the first quarter, 4 points to his 6 shooting. It's over.
So there it is again. Yeah, uncut. Definitely let me know. What was going on in those first quarters? Was Jordan intentionally not shooting and just distributing the ball? Trying to win the right way?
We are screwed. Yeah. After that abysmal first quarter, of course, it was not over. And looking at the rest of the game, there's kind of 3 major turning points in the game that swung it back to the Bulls. The first big swing was Jordan's second quarter, scoring a game-high 12 points, taking the lead from 18 down to 5 points. So now it's manageable. Jordan got them out of the hole. The second big turning point involves Scottie Pippen, who in this game got his first start as a rookie.
I'm proud of you, you know that. I hope you do.
Pippen in the third quarter, close the third quarter, had phenomenal defense without MJ on the floor. The Bulls, prior to these two big plays, they were down 1 point. After these plays, momentum completely changed and the Bulls were finally on top, up by 3 points. Those plays from Pippen, as was the Bulls' defense, you wouldn't find that in 87 with Jordan not on the floor. And that right there is a moment where Scottie Pippen, give him his credit, his due, for coming up big as a rookie in his first playoff start.
Nice. Yeah, I'm watching him right now. He had a lot of energy on defense. He was covering a lot of ground. So shout out to your first start, Scotty.
Now the third time turning point in this game also involved Pippen. At this time, Scotty in the fourth quarter, with only 3 minutes left with foul out with the Bulls, up by 5 points. So right now you have Michael Jordan on the floor. He's got Dave Corzine, Sam Vincent, and Pippen is out of the game.
24 points. Well done. Well done. And this is what it is. I mean, wow, this is like so much proof in itself. All Jordan needed was somebody else to step up a little bit. And now he finally had it. Here's Scotty in Game 5, stepping up for him. So he's not all alone on this island, playing his ass off just to lose.
From the line by Mark Price. He has 4.
Except MJ is stuck all alone at the end, but I'm not going to blame Pippen. This is his first start, so he's not used to playing that level of defense without worrying about getting into foul trouble because his minutes were limited. So now he's playing full-time minutes. I understand why he fouled out. I'm not gonna blame him, but that doesn't change the reality. Now it's clutch time. MJ's back out there all alone.
Sparrow way off the mark with a jumper, but Oakley gets the rebound, and Jordan. Doherty clears outlets to Harper and throws it away. 12 on the shot clock. Jordan has it knocked away by
Harp, man.
Watch him pull up for the 3.
That's it.
With Paxson in his face, hits the 3-point shooting foul. Wherever it is. Sparrow from the corner. Jordan tips it, no good. Oakley battles. They got a foul. Charles Oakley got the big rebound for Chicago, and Jordan is fouled by Price. Points in the game. That'll be the biggest rebound in Charles Oakley's career. Seconds to tie.
Does MJ miss a fourth quarter free throw in this series?
That's game. And Doug Collins wants a timeout. Chicago calls time. They've got this game in their back pocket.
So that right there is the end of Game 5. Like I said earlier, players like Scottie Pippen, Brad Sellers, even a Horace Grant, they'd have moments of brilliance they come through with big-time plays.
But once again, who was your consistent workhorse, your consistent provider? MJ producing. Let's see how many points he scored this game.
Let's be honest. Games 1 through 5, it was Michael Jordan 98% of the time. And the fourth quarter, it was all MJ. Just take us home 23. And looking at Jordan's entire series, he averaged a staggering 45.2 points a game, second to Jerry West, the highest ever in a single series.
And look at this. West, shout out to you. Jordan. Bernard King, hell yeah. I've been trying to get some more attention on Bernard. Jordan. Rick Barry, Elgin Baylor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 6 out of 9 of these spots are MJ. What the hell? How lucky I was to grow up watching him.
And of course, looking at this list, MJ featured a whopping 5 different times. I mean, this guy, compared to the entire league's history, has more 40-point series than everyone else combined.
So we need like a little celebration in the comments. Everybody comment down below. Comment down below. Did you get to watch Jordan in the 80s? Were you alive to watch Jordan in the 80s and then continue to watch the rest of his career? If you do, it's time to be thankful that we got this experience. Because, man, here we are 40 years later, and we still can't find a dude that can outplay this guy.
And I want to note one thing very quickly. On that list, you have MJ's 45 versus Cleveland, but also 43 versus Boston. And those two series, impressive on different levels. As looking at the 86 series versus Boston, breaking down MJ's made field goals. 17% of his made field goals came off 0 dribbles. 21% off only 1. Now, 1988, the pie chart completely flips and shows Jordan once again a phenomenal off-ball player who could adapt to a team system with him not dominating the ball 24/7.
Much better, and this is where all of his success came from later on in his career, was playing off the ball. And yeah, 42% off the ball. So no more one-on-one, no more ISO stuff unless it was needed. But you can see it in all the clips that he was showing here, that Uncut was showing. He's running back. He's looking like Reggie Miller down there, or Ray Allen, or Steph Curry. Take your pick. Pick your poison. But he's running around off the ball trying to get open to receive that ball and hit a jumper.
As looking at this chart, 42.4% of Jordan's points came off 0 dribbles. 36.5% came off only 1. I mean, that right there, that's an absurd figure. Michael Jordan, 88 versus Cleveland, the way he was scoring, off pin downs, backdoor cuts, screens, things that for a lot of great scorers, they simply don't do. And also, one thing I do want to highlight, Michael Jordan's ISO game is completely flipped from 86 and 85. As Jordan this series, he'd ISO in the mid-range, take 1 dribble, a jab step, pump fake, then score. In all reality, it is very Melo-esque.
Down the right side to Jordan. Jordan against Harper. Jordan puts up his jumper and nails it.
What about now? Carmelo, 50 on the clock, puts it up and in.
Outside of the sideline. Ball goes inside. Jordan's turnaround right there.
We were good friends when J.R. Smith played here. Anthony turnaround shot is good.
Out front to Jordan. Jordan against Harper, 7. Jordan comes down the right side for the 8-footer. Right there.
Clock is down. Carmelo.
Also, one more thing I do want to highlight. Michael Jordan, the finisher at the rim, not just dunking. This dude, he was non-Perea. In a lot of ways, Michael Jordan, the 6'6" Kyrie Irving. And no, I'm not exaggerating.
Pippen is in there now for Chicago. And Michael Jordan.
Get Luka off that island.
Irving inside, the layup. Oh!
Has helped, the home crowd has helped him. Jordan trying to warm up and somehow was able to get that thing to fall.
Irving with a series of moves and scores.
This is just a joy to watch right now. I'm just paying attention.
Trying to do it all by himself. He's just amazing. And he just did.
On the move, looking for 50. Off the window!
And one last thing I do want to hammer home about 88 Jordan versus the Cavaliers, his first series with Scottie. Pippen played a minor level and was great in Game 5. But to say Jordan wasn't the driving force of this team, the reason they won, that I can't get on board with that. And looking at this series, the top leading scorers, MJ, 45.2 points a game. Second leading scorer for the series, Mark Price, 21. Third, Harper, 18. Fourth, Nance, 17. Doherty, 15.8. And then Mike Sanders, 12.8. Out of the top 6 scorers in this series, 5 of them from the Cavaliers. Yep. One of them was on the Bulls, and that was Michael Jordan. Having a player carry a team that much, we have not seen that since Jordan in 1988. And looking at MJ's play in the fourth quarter, that's where Jordan quite literally put the team on his back. As in the fourth versus Cavaliers, 12.0 points per game, 1.8 assists on phenomenal splits. Those free throws...
96% free throw shooting in the fourth quarter. It's beautiful.
24-25, 96%. That's ridiculous. So to say Pippen saved Jordan, especially in this series, makes absolutely no sense and is a downright lie.
You sit on a throne of lies.
So looking past Cleveland finally, next up, we have the bad boy Pistons in round 2. And Chicago versus Detroit at this point, this was a bitter rivalry that dated back to 1985. As of course Isaiah in 85 in Jordan's first All-Star game infamously froze him out and kind of snubbed him. Also in 85, Bill Laimbeer, a vicious foul on MJ in Chicago that Jordan never forgot. Fast forward to 88, also Rick Mahorn got in a fight with the entire Bulls team, as well as Doug Collins. I mean, these two teams, before Game 1 even started, they despised each other. Jordan, 88 versus the Pistons, up to this point, he was simply on fire in the playoffs. But in this second round series, the Pistons just showed MJ you can't do it by yourself. as Jordan this series only averaged 27 points per game. At that point, the lowest of his entire career.
And that's exactly why it took 2 more years of development for everybody else. He was getting just a little pinch of help, just a tiny bit of help from his team, and that was good enough to get out of the first round. But to beat the championship, the champion Pistons, it was going to take more than just a tiny bit of help. He needed actual, like, legit role players to be consistent and step up for him, and that's what he got by 91, by 90-91 season. He finally had a team that would step up for him.
And the strategy was quite simple. Stop Michael Jordan.
Stop the Bulls.
At all costs.
Stop Jordan, stop the
Forget
Bulls.
about Pippen, Sam Vincent, Charles Oakley. Put those guys to the side. The one guy you had to stop is Michael Jordan. And that strategy worked to absolute perfection in 1988.
We still double team Jordan every time he touched the basketball. We rotated to Sam Vincent as opposed to leaving him open the other night. We'd rather have Sam beat us than Michael beat us because we know that he can beat us.
That really was significant too, Zeke. You held Michael Jordan to only 20 shot attempts today.
Like I said, we double teamed him every time, and he's smart enough basketball player that he passes the basketball whenever he's double teamed, and the guys just weren't hitting their shots. The other night they made those shots. Tonight they wasn't hitting those shots.
So the strategy right there, it seems pretty straightforward and simple. Stop Jordan, you stop the Bulls. And looking at game 1, pretty much did just that. As MJ in the first half managed 7 points on 1 of 6 shooting. For Jordan at this point, that is an abysmal first half. Now, the second half did get it cooking, had 22 points on really good shooting. And fast forward in the fourth quarter, MJ in the fourth, did everything he could. The Bulls in this game in the fourth quarter made a minor comeback, as MJ had 6 points off the bat, just like that. So at this point, a 7-point game, anyone's game. After that moment, the Bulls didn't score for nearly 5 minutes. And the Pistons went on a 10-0 run.
Defense wins championships, ladies and gentlemen.
MJ in the fourth quarter, quite literally, did everything for the Bulls. As out of their 16 points, all 16 came via Michael Jordan. And looking at the entire game in totality, Jordan in this matchup, 29 points, 45.5% shooting. For MJ, not spectacular. The other 4 starters combined 20 points, 8 of 35 shooting, 22.8%.
Been out here for about 10 minutes. This thing is not easy. I'm a little discouraged, but can the ball go through like this?
Like we see time and time again, versus the all-time great team Michael Jordan can't do everything by himself.
Wait, I'm sorry. What is this from? What is this from? Because this is hilarious. Man, let me know in the comments if you know what this is from. I want to check this out.
And looking at game 2, finally, Jordan got some great teammate help. As Sam Vincent out of nowhere in the first half scored 27 points.
Finally.
Sam Vincent having that explosion, it's literally out of nowhere. For the entire playoffs, only had 102 points total. So dropping 27 in this game, it's out of nowhere, it's bizarre, and an anomaly. And the first half, Vincent and Jordan, Vincent 27 points, Jordan had 12, Bulls up by 15. Jordan at that point, kind of riding the wave that is Sam Vincent. Now looking at the second half, nearly a complete inverse. As Jordan, 24 points, Sam Vincent only managed 4. So that magic died out very quickly. And the Bulls in this game, they were up by as much as 20 points, they were dominating, they were going to cruise to a Game 2 win. But the Pistons, being the great team they were, came back ever so slightly with a very quick 10-0 run. They culminated with Pippen getting hit in the face and there being no call.
Go Jordan outside left, quick drive, baseline left, in deep, shoots it out, no, tips in his own miss. Detroit within 7. Come on, look, Sam Vincent in the backcourt, under heavy pressure.
God damn, look at this defense.
Michael takes it in on James Edwards, shoots it out. Playoffs with 4:07 left. Michael offers the first one, in and out. The Bulls team in 1981 in the playoffs. Jordan's second shot, around and in. He's got 20. Michael against Ralph Lewis, out to the left, 10 to shoot. Jordan wide left against Lewis. Quick drive in for the left. Lays it in.
And this is anxiety creating defense here. They're swarming.
Jump pass off.
Look at this.
Sam still way in the backcourt. Throws it ahead to Grant. Here is Michael down the lane. Shoots it up. Bang.
Yeah, this kind of defense messes with your head, man. You end up making all kinds of mistakes because of this, because you feel desperate and you're panicking.
Michael with 31 points on the night, 32. He's 6 for 7 free throws. Michael Jordan offers it again right through. The Bulls back to a 10-point edge. 2:40 left. Left corner is Scottie Pippen. Scottie under pressure of Sally. Gives to Grant. Horace against Rodman. 10 to shoot. Horace in the left corner. Hands to Jordan. 6 on the clock.
Come on, take Joe
Jordan
D.
against Dumars. Into the left. Michael's left baseline shot.
Damn.
Michael Jordan puts the Bulls up by 10.
Ball game.
So that right there, that's typical MJ magic in the fourth quarter, giving the Bulls a very close victory. Now Detroit in games 3 and 4, and they must have took things very, very personally. As Detroit at this point, they did not lose games at home, and the Bulls beating them was a major shock to their system. As looking at games 3 and game 4, MJ in the first half was not great. Game 3, 12 points, subpar shooting, didn't score his first basket till 5:30 in the second quarter, with the Bulls down by 20. Game 4, also not great stuff. MJ in the first half, 10 points on 11 shots. At that point, the Pistons up by 10 points, and eventually 15, 20, so on, so on. The common through line in the Cleveland series and the Detroit series is Chicago's slow starts, their bad first quarters, and its awful first halves. And if MJ isn't playing lights out, isn't getting some random Sam Vincent or Pippen game, the Bulls simply have zero chance. It's safe to say the Bulls at this point, they've been punked not once but twice on their home floor. And that for the NBA back in the 80s, kind of the natural progression of the Eastern Conference.
I'm sorry to cut him off. They got Dennis Rodman hounding him. Look at this. Dennis Rodman guarding him man to man. And then you got two guys who are gonna trap him if he actually catches the ball, which is probably gonna happen right now.
After the longest time, the Celtics had the exact same thing to the Pistons. Now Detroit paying it forward, doing the Jordan and the Bulls for a number of seasons. And I want to make one thing very clear. The Pistons, yes, were a dirty team, tons of antics, just things that went outside the lines. Even with that being said, their actual basketball play, they were a great defensive team, as was offensive team. It wasn't always cheap shots, always fighting. 98% of the time, it was just great basketball on both ends.
Jordan over 4 players, and Sally came away with it. That was kicked by Dumars, but no call. Had eyes in the back of his head. Made the pass to Lane Beard, to Johnson to Lane Beard.
Nice touch pass over to Brad Sellers.
Good defense. Yeah, the real dirty defense came in the following year, the year after this.
Collins wanted a foul called on Dennis Rodman, didn't get it. Doug is on the sideline pleading his case.
Oh, damn, Isaiah.
Oh, what a dish. Watch the defense.
Here we have Joe Dumars chasing Jordan here now. This looks like a little bit of a dance, all right? But you notice how hard Jordan was working.
Here comes Michael Jordan with Pippen.
Oh, no. Dennis Rodman.
No foul call.
Screen, Dumars and Jordan. There's your one pick for him. Here he comes off the ball. Now watch how they follow. He's chasing and chasing and chasing.
So watching that great Pistons defense, the one thing I noticed a lot, their great defense would feed in their offense time and time again.
Yep.
Whether it be rebounds, forced turnovers, or long misses. The Pistons' offense in transition was downright elite, and one of their underrated traits was great passing and unselfish play.
Yeah, points on turnover. That must have been just a monstrous for this Pistons team.
Detroit on both ends, they were a great team. Did they have numerous all-stars? Of course they did. Isaiah, Lambeer, Dantley, so on and so on. They had all-star talent, but played basketball under a team umbrella. And one player I was blown away by was actually Bill Lambeer. Lambeer in this series, not just a great rebounder, but a great outside shooter.
All right. I'll probably have to swallow it because my takes on Bill Lambeer are emotional because I don't like Bill Lambeer as a person. So I bashed him, and I've been told by some people in the comments setting me straight that he was actually a good mid-range shooter. So, yeah, I mean, I could still admit that and also admit that I don't like the dude, right?
Whether it be pick and roll, spot ups, transition shots, Lambier's outside game was top notch. And in games 1 and 5, I mean, he had some big time clutch shots on the perimeter. For the 1980s, Bill Laimbeer was actually a stretch 5 who could shoot jump shots. Were they threes? Not in this era. If you play today, they certainly would
for
be.
Sure.
And looking at Game 5 in Detroit, I mean, Lambier's jumpers, again, just raining them down from outside in the 1980s.
I love that one.
Now, that Game 5 right there, Chicago, of course, they lost that game. They lost the series. Their season was over. But looking at Jordan this playoff run, the question I have to ask, was the Bulls losing, was it due to Jordan and his poor play? I think any sane person would answer that question with an emphatic
no. Absolutely not. Detroit earned it. Detroit won. It wasn't like Jordan choked. It was Detroit went out there and took it.
As looking at Jordan in this playoff run, total points, 363. The Bulls starters outside of Jordan, 362 on 40.7% shooting. If you want to knock Jordan for losing this series, go ahead and do it. But make one thing very clear. The Bulls losing wasn't because of Jordan.
Yes, let me piggyback off of Uncut there. You can't say he choked. So whenever somebody brings up, we talk about like LeBron choking because he's done it many times in the playoffs and in the finals. That's choking. Now, when those same fans go, oh yeah, well, what about Detroit? Well, Jordan played his ass off. He didn't choke, but Detroit was better than him. You know what I mean? Same things I can say about the teams that the Bulls beat in the finals. Just off the top of my head, did Utah choke? No. Both times they played great. What happened? The Bulls are better. Same thing with my Suns in 93. Did the Suns choke? Absolutely not. They played great. Bulls played better. There are certain instances where a team chokes or a player chokes, like Miami in 2011. That was a choke. That was a choke by LeBron. Anyways, I'm going to move on with it. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say on this one was there's a difference between losing a damn basketball game or losing a series and then choking. Two completely different things. A loss is not a choke. You can lose and have the better team win, but you could also, but when you choke, it's just, that means you're the better team and you were supposed to win, but your emotions got in your way and you fell apart. That's a choke. Everybody loses. 50%. One team has to win, one team has to lose. We don't shame the losing team like that. It's just if you choke, then you shame. That's just how we do it.
That's a big time distinction. Jordan, 85, 86, 87, and 88, he was losing. But his team losing wasn't because of him and his individual play. Big time distinction. And looking at Jordan's opponents, not just individual matchups, the teams he was playing, all these teams were great defensive teams. The Pistons, 2nd defensive rating. Cavaliers, 5th. Celtics, 9th, 1st. Milwaukee, 2nd. Opponents' points per game. Pistons, 3rd. Cavs, 2nd. Celtics twice, and then Bucks again, all top 5. The teams Jordan was playing, they were great defensive teams, led by great defensive players. Whether it be DJ, Moncrief, Dumars, or Ron Harper. And if you want to look through league history, I don't think any player before Jordan or since Jordan carried the offensive burden in the fourth quarter of MJ. As looking at 88 Jordan in the fourth quarter / OT, averaged a staggering 10.0 points per game. And looking at the bottom half of this list, you have Kobe, Jordan, Kobe again, as well as Jordan. Those two guys are the only players ever to average 9 points in the fourth quarter in multiple playoff runs. And of course, Jordan 88 in the top 4 at 10.0 points per game. And looking at that top 4 very quickly, here's the distinction. Michael Jordan 88, 10 points on a percentage of 52.9%.
Yep.
Brunson 24, 41.1%. LeBron 06, 45.5%.
That's good. Uncut, always focus. Yeah, the shooting percentage, that I always have looked at that since I was a kid. And I expect 50% out of shooting guards.
Within Dirk, 2011, 50.4%. What did that show us? 88 Jordan in the fourth quarters, not only a high volume scorer, but efficiency-wise, the best player of all time, on the same tier as 2011 Dirk, one of the most clutch players of all time. So that right there is the end of the video, and the entire summary of Michael Jordan in the 88 playoffs.
Dang, man.
Hopefully some of the stuff now you do know, some narratives are debunked, other things brought to light, and all in all, just have a better understanding of 88 Jordan, what he accomplished, didn't accomplish, and how good his team was around him. As always, thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.
Did I enjoy it? Hell yeah, this was great. This was absolutely great, Uncut. You outdid yourself again. I love how honest you are in this, because the point of this is not to pretend like Jordan's career was absolutely perfect and he never lost a game and all this crap that I'm hearing these days. It's not that. It's the show, the journey. You know, it's like the hero's journey back in the day. It's the same kind of thing. You start out from nothing, you build up, you get stronger and stronger and stronger until you overcome your obstacle eventually, and that's the moment to celebrate. The thing that made Jordan so special is that he was so great on the rise, but he just couldn't get over the hump. But then once he did climb to the top of the mountain, he did it 6 times. Like, he stayed there. That's what's so cool. It's like a heavyweight champion. There are hundreds of heavyweight champions, but to have somebody stay up there and defend his title over and over again, that's when you start using the word greatness. So I love how you're showing all the positive and the negative, and you're not hiding any of it, because there's no need to hide it, in my opinion. Because once he gets to the top of the mountain in 2 years from now, 2 years from this point, that is, he stays there, and there's nothing a damn person could say about the rest of his career. So it wasn't like you win one championship, then you fall off for 4 years, and then you win one, and it's just like random. No, it wasn't. This was dominance. Anyways, everybody, Uncut, great job. Everybody in the comments, everybody watching, let me know what you think about this. Did you learn some stuff? I definitely learned some stuff. And if you guys have any insight on what was going on in the first quarters of these games, let me know. I'm sure some of you have watched these as well. I'm not going to leave a long outro here because, hey, man, we saw what we just saw. And I can't wait for the next part. I cannot wait for the next one. Even though it's going to be another video of showing Jordan losing. But it's going to be the last one. And then after that, it's going to be the fun stuff. But I like breaking this stuff down. I like watching this because even though I know it leads to MJ losing, you can see the change from the Bulls and how they're playing and how Jordan is playing in this season versus how they were in the previous 3 seasons. You can see a major transformation, and they're heading in that championship direction, but they're just not quite there yet. Anyways, everybody, please leave a like to this video if you enjoyed it. I appreciate you all. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. Final reminder, the link down below to Uncut's original video is in the description box below if you want to check it out. Everybody, I appreciate you watching. I will see you all in the comments, all right? All right. Peace out, everybody.